You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Welcome into a special edition of the Minor League Baseball Podcast, the show before the show with me, Tyler Maughan, and Jake Seiner out in New York City. We're going to dive right into it. We had episode number 14 this week, or episode number 13 this week, rather, and episode number 13.5/14 comes your way today as the third overall draft pick of the 2015 Major League Baseball first-year player draft. Brendan Rodgers, shortstop out of Lake Mary High School in Florida, and now in the Colorado Rockies organization, joins us. Brendan, how have the last few weeks been for you?
Oh man, it's been pretty crazy, but I've got time to enjoy it and have some fun with it all, and it's all settling down now.
Well, let's talk about just how things have gone. I mean, this time a month, 6 weeks ago, you were a high school kid, and now top overall pick in the draft for the Rockies, first-round pick, third overall selection. And this has been, I would imagine, the weirdest and coolest month of your life. But let's focus first on that run-up to the draft, because you were rated the top overall talent in the draft by MLB.com and Baseball America. A couple of college shortstops go ahead of you. But going into the draft, what was that anticipation like? If you could rate your excitement versus your stress and your anxiety and your anticipation, what were all those emotions like? You wrote a really cool letter to Rockies fans on MLB.com and did some other coverage leading up to the draft, but if you could encapsulate what that felt like now, being a few weeks removed from it, what was that whole experience to you?
Those numbers, excitement, 10, nerves, I would honestly have to say they were all 10s, but they were each feeling was each at a different time, like obviously before the draft, before the date or the night came, I got to relax and hang out with all my family and friends and do a bunch of fun stuff. The day of the draft was pretty nervous. I was pretty nervous. Excited, but I didn't really know where I was going, and I didn't know until three and a half minutes before they picked me where I was going to end up. So it was kind of stressful, but everything worked out, and I'm happy to be where I am.
Yeah, Brendan, I want to ask you specifically about the draft day, because you made the decision to come up to New York and New Jersey and be there for the draft at Studio 42. You were one of 4 guys there, including a guy who's now your teammate, Mike Nicorak. What was that experience like? Is that something that you would endorse for other high school kids or even college kids if they can swing it? Because I know that's something that MLB wants to start doing more of. And especially just want to ask, the amount of baseball royalty in that room was pretty impressive. I'm just curious if there's anybody you met that day that made for an especially surreal moment or anything like that for you.
I would definitely highly recommend it going if you have the opportunity to. I fortunately got the opportunity to go, and I would never go back and change anything about it. It was just, the way MLB took care of you and all the stuff they did for you. We went to lunch. We saw a bunch of. We got to see the outskirts of the city. We got to take a bus tour in the city. We got to see MLB studio. We got to see everything. It was just very well put together, and it was life-changing.
Brendan, when you got picked by the Rockies, you don't really find out until a few minutes beforehand. What was your immediate reaction? You wrote on MLB.com the coolest moment for you was getting to turn around and hug your parents. But when you found out where you'd be going, when you were going to be going, that whole moment with your mom and dad, what was that moment? How do you put that together?
Oh, man. It was, I was pretty much speechless. When I shook the commissioner's hand and had the interview with Sam Ryan after I got to hug both my mom and dad, it was I was still in shock. I could barely even talk. I was like in awe. It was just all a blur almost. But I mean, I watched obviously when I got back home on TV, and it didn't look like I did too bad in the interviews and stuff. So it all worked out.
Yeah, obviously being a shortstop and being drafted by the Rockies, people talk about Troy Tulowitzki obviously being there and being signed through 2020. And I know you talked at the draft about just being excited to meet him and get to pick his brain a little bit. I gather from some media reports that meeting did happen. Just curious what that was like meeting Tulo and maybe some of the other guys in the clubhouse, if any of them had any advice that you think has been particularly helpful just in this early process of getting your pro career started.
Yeah, the first person I actually got to meet was Nolan Arenado. I just talked to him for a few seconds, just what's my name and stuff. But and then I got to talk to Troy. We walked in the clubhouse, and I got to talk to him for 5-10 minutes, and we just really talked about the game. And he just told me to always have fun. He goes, never not give it your all. I mean, I always go out 110%. Someone's always watching, blah, 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 and just a bunch of stuff like that. And hopefully I get to work with him during the spring training coming up and learn a bunch of things from him.
Brendan, you got to come to Coors Field and meet the media also, and then basically you just hustled right out to Grand Junction, and that's where you're going to start your professional career. Meeting the team, and I guess the cool thing was you got to meet a couple of teammates. Mike Nikorek obviously was at the draft, but Tyler Nevin was in town, who's now been the starting third baseman for the last few days for the Rockies in Grand Junction. And so to get to meet those guys and then, head out, join the club on the road at Idaho Falls, and kind of get into this mix. You haven't played in any game action yet. You did get on the field last night. I saw on Twitter that you were coaching first base, so there's your first Simplizio Field experience. But I mean, what has that whole experience been like to be now fully a part of this roster, getting in BP, getting in your work, and getting set to make your pro debut?
It's just a good feeling to get my timing back and get my feet back under myself and getting the feel back for the game. And my time I think actually is going to come I think it's going to be tonight. Coach Sanders said after I got to see a live arm and see how I felt, we would work something out after that. And I saw a live arm in inter-squad game yesterday. Well, not inter-squad, just a live arm thrown to me and get my timing back and stuff. But it was a good feeling to actually get over there and coach first base. But I'm ready to actually get on the field and play.
Brendan, I just had one more question for you about the draft process, and that's I know as a Florida guy, you were committed to Florida State and even wearing some Florida State gear on the draft day at the luncheon and everything. So I imagine that was something you pretty clearly wanted to do. I'm just curious how tough a decision that was to sign with a pro team and forgo the college experience, and going third overall and getting that kind of money, if that made it an easier decision. Just curious what the thought process is like in that regard for you.
Yeah, it was a really tough process because I had a bunch of really close friends and long-time teammates that are there actually right now, and it was honestly real tough. I mean, I wore that stuff for a reason. I mean, it was one of the toughest decisions I've ever had to make, and hopefully I made the right one. But no, I'm having a blast so far in pro ball. Getting to play the game you love every day as a job. I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that.
Let's talk about somebody who kind of was there for you to be able to bounce questions off of through this whole process. Forrest Wall was a Rockies early pick last year at the end of the first round, and is a guy who I think a lot of people in this organization are really excited about what he could provide as a second baseman going forward. You now are that counterpart in the middle infield at shortstop, and you and Forrest have known each other for a long time, and I got a chance to ask you about this at your press conference here at Coors, but playing off of Jake's question, to have somebody that you have known for a long time, who you've been close with, to be able to bounce questions off of and learn from throughout this entire process, the draft, the signing, getting into pro ball, what has that whole thing meant to you?
I mean, I just have been so fortunate because he has given me so many little pointers and tips and stuff just to get me through my first season of pro ball. All the little things he's telling me just get me almost one step ahead, just realizing what I have to do, what I don't do, and just stuff like that, and how it's a grind, and how it's not an easy process, but if you want it, you're gonna have to push through it and stuff like that. I mean, and he's obviously doing well over in Nashville, and we text pretty much every day and see how each other are doing and stuff. So, I mean, we've always been close buddies, and I think we're only gonna get closer.
When you talk to guys like Forrest or other guys who are maybe trying to just help you transition a little bit to pro ball, I'm curious how much of that conversation is about things that are going to happen on the field and like little scouting notes or things you need to know, and how much of that is more dealing with some of the off field. I mean, it's a big lifestyle adjustment, obviously, for you going from being a high school kid to a pro ball player, dealing with media, dealing with negotiating with the Rockies, that contract, dealing with just getting yourself ready to play every day. How much of those conversations is more about the off-field stuff, and what kind of things have proven helpful to you so far?
It's about 50-50, I would say. I mean, he just tells me, I mean, it's a job. I mean, you can't be going out and doing stupid things. I mean, you always have eyes on you. That's what he pretty much told me. He goes, if this is what you want, I mean, you're gonna have to earn it. It's not gonna come easy to you, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you can't go in one day and someone's watching and just say you don't really want to play ball today. I mean, you pretty much got to go all out every day, every hour you're at the field, and that's what I'm willing to do.
Brendan Rodgers, top draft pick of the Colorado Rockies organization, the third overall selection in the 2015 first-year player draft. Brendan, we'll get you out of here on this. You haven't played in game action since April 20th when your high school season ended. How excited are you to finally get back? I mean, the draft's behind you, signing the contracts behind you, all this work to get back in. And just how chomping at the bit are you to actually play in a baseball game now?
Very. I'm like astonished to start playing again, but I'm ready. I'm ready to finally face a live arm and see what I can do with it.
And I lied to you. One more thing, because you were this was a big point at your press conference at Coors Field. Did you get to keep the hair?
Yes, I do get to keep the hair, but
thankfully.
I can't let it. I can't overdo it. I'm gonna have to trim it up, but it'll still be there.
The scouting grades on Brendan Rodgers are good on everything, and on flow, on the 20 to 80 scale, it's like a 90. It's like Joey Gallo power. That's Brendan Rodgers' hair. Brendan, thanks a ton, man, for joining us from Grand Junction. The Rockies are home this weekend, and you're gonna get in and make your debut. We're recording this on Thursday, so if it's tonight, if it's tomorrow, best of luck, man. Thanks for joining us, and all the luck in the world this season and coming up down the road.
All right. Thank you very much.
Brendan Rodgers, the first-round pick of the Colorado Rockies. I cannot imagine. Remember, like when you were 18 and you were just that excited about everything? I can't imagine the torture that it has felt like for a guy like Rodgers to not play baseball for 2 months. Like taking BP and ground balls and all that stuff. Like it's fun, but you live to be in games, and he's just had to sit and watch baseball for 2 months. And now finally, it's almost here for him. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's got to be a weird change. I mean, you just go from being a high school kid and playing games to all of a sudden you're not playing baseball for 2 months, but
right.
You're talking about baseball and being around baseball sort of things and dealing with agents and teams and also I can't imagine having to just comprehend all that at 18. It's pretty
Everything is baseball except for the fact that you're not actually playing baseball.
Right.
That's fun. But Rodgers will debut either tonight, we're again recording on Thursday the 25th, or tomorrow for the Grand Junction Rockies in the rookie level Pioneer League. And I know a ton of people out there very excited to see him. When he was announced in pregame lineups, he got the biggest ovation of a big crowd at Saplizio Field in Grand Junction. So that is really cool, and it should be fun to watch. It's really interesting to hear the draft process and all that stuff from somebody who especially has just very freshly been through it. I mean, you talk to guys about, what do you remember about the draft? And it's, from a few years ago, but for it to be 2 weeks old in your mind and hear about, going on tours of MLB Network studios or taking a bus tour in New York City, all that kind of stuff. That's really, really cool. And a lot of people are going to have eyes on Brendan Rodgers because he is a very, very exciting prospect. Thanks for coming along for this little special edition of the show before the show. You can, as always, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. You can get in touch with us, podcast at MILB.com. Jake's on Twitter at Jake_Signer. I am at Tyler Mon. And Brendan Rodgers you can find by typing in BRO and then a whole bunch of D's into Twitter. He is BRO and then 5 D's and then the number 3. Or you could just, he's one of those. You can just search for Brendan Rodgers. He's verified now.
Not as bad as Henry Owens, who just has a whole bunch of underscores.
It's true. He's got 1 billion underscores.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
But you can just type in Brendan Rodgers because he's verified now at 18. Verified, and he's still got pictures up from prom. Like, what a sweet gig, Brendan Rodgers. And again, 90 grade hair on the 20 to 80 scouting scale.
It's hockey hair is what it is.
It is hockey hair. That is the best description. He has like sweet, like late 80s defenseman hair.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. Jake, next week, episode number 14 of the show before the show. Give us a preview.
Yeah, we are hoping to talk to Brent Honeywell, who we reported yesterday has just gotten promoted from Bowling Green to Charlotte. So going to work out the details on that, but hopefully he'll be our guest, and he's a guy who's pretty interesting. He throws a screwball. It's a thing that was passed down to him from his uncle, is Mike Marshall, who won a Cy Young in the 1970s, throwing a screwball, one of the better screwballers of all time. And Honeywell is a pretty interesting character. I think he's going to be a good guest and something you'll enjoy.
So that's coming up next week. Also, yesterday we were talking about how, it's been kind of a normal week. We haven't really had to talk about 1 billion top prospects being promoted. And then very late, and you might have heard it in the close to yesterday's show, Mark Appel, who was our guest, our very first player guest on the show before the show podcast. Mark Appel promoted to the AAA Fresno Grizzlies and the Astros organization. So he is now one step away from the big leagues. So they're still coming. Still all kinds of craziness. Brendan Rodgers probably be in Denver by the end of the year at this rate.
We could probably could talk futures game stuff next week too.
Yeah, we'll talk some futures game. Rosters released today, and all kinds of fun coming up next week on episode number 14. Thanks for joining us for this little 13.5 edition of the show before the show. And for Jake Signer, I'm Tyler Mon. We'll talk to you next week.